listeners, and welcome back to the Pulse Report. Today, we're diving into another life sustaining system in the human body, the circulatory system. I'm Maaliyah.
And I'm Maryam. We're so excited for this episode because this system dives into what keeps every single cell in your body alive.
The circulatory system plays a massive role in our everyday lives and is responsible for a large portion of our body processes. We hope you learned something new about this unique system and the impact it has on our basic functions. So, first things first, what exactly is the circulatory system? Think of it as your body's transportation and supply chain network. It's responsible for moving blood throughout your entire body. That blood carries multiple components. Those include oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and even immune cells. While also removing waste like carbon dioxide, the system itself is made up of three main components: the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. These three may seem like simple parts, but have extremely complex jobs.
Exactly. Technically speaking, the circulatory system supports almost every other organ system. It delivers oxygen from your lungs to your tissues. It transports nutrients from digestion to your cells. It removes carbon dioxide and metabolic waste. It distributes hormones from endocrine glands, and it helps regulate your body temperature. Not to mention, it plays a major role in maintaining homeostasis, especially blood pressure and pH balance.
So think of the nervous system as a command center and the circulatory system as its delivery system that keeps everything running. Just like last time, let's zoom out and revisit the cellular blueprint. At the core of it all, cells form tissues, tissues form organs, and organs form organ systems.
Starting at the cellular level, we have blood cells. There are three major types. First, red blood cells, also called erythrocytes. These contain hemoglobin, a protein that binds to oxygen. One of their most important roles in the body is oxygen transport. Second, white blood cells, leukocytes. They're part of your immune system and defend against pathogens. Third, platelets. These are cell fragments that help your blood clot when you're injured. Think of them as emergency repair crews.
Yup, together these components make up blood, which is actually classified as a type of connective tissue, linking different parts of our body. Then we move up to the other specific types of tissue. The heart is made primarily of cardiac muscle tissue, which is specialized for rhythmic contraction. Blood vessels, with the exception of capillaries, are made up of three separate tissue layers: an endothelial lining, a middle smooth muscle layer, and an outer connective tissue layer. These are all designed to withstand pressure and control flow.
These tissues form the organs of the circulatory system. These include the heart and its network of vessels. Speaking of the heart, let's zoom in on the main organ of the circulatory system and the role it plays in our bodies.
The heart is a muscular organ about the size of your fist, located slightly left of center in your chest. It has four chambers: two atria on top and two ventricles on the bottom. The atria receive blood that is returning back to the heart. The ventricles pump blood out from the heart throughout the body. This cycle repeats, allowing blood to constantly circle throughout.
Separating the left and right sides is a wall called the septum. And to keep everything flowing in the correct direction, the heart has four valves: the tricuspid valve, pulmonary valve, mitral valve, and aortic valve. These valves ensure one-way flow. This limits any backflow.
It's so cool how atria and ventricles are essential for blood flow, but how does that even work in the first place? How are they able to provide the entire body with the blood that keeps us alive?
That's a great question. And it all comes down to the specific pathway our blood takes when it's traveling throughout the heart and the body. It all starts when deoxygenated blood with low oxygen levels, returns from the body to the right atrium. It then moves into the right ventricle, which pumps it to the lungs. This is called pulmonary circulation.
In the lungs, carbon dioxide is released, and oxygen binds to hemoglobin in red blood cells. Now oxygenated, the blood's oxygen levels increase due to pulmonary circulation, otherwise known as gas exchange. From there, the blood returns to the left atrium.
It then flows down into the left ventricle, the strongest chamber in the heart, which then pumps it out to the entire body. This is systemic circulation.
The oxygen content of blood is picked up by body cells. That oxygen fuels our body processes, such as aerobic respiration, allowing energy creation through ATP. To explore ATP in more detail, reference our first episode, where we explore its significance.
Once our cells use up the oxygen they have received from the blood, it then returns back to the right atrium, deoxygenated. And from there, the cycle repeats, over and over again. In fact, it occurs about 60 to 100 times per minute at rest.
That's a good way to bring the whole concept full circle. Just to add though, when blood is traveling throughout the body, it's important to recognize that it doesn't just float around freely. It travels through arteries and veins. Now, what are these, you may ask?
Both arteries and veins are types of blood vessels actively assisting blood flow. Arteries are what carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood back to the heart. They have valves to prevent backflow. Interestingly, arteries have thick muscular walls to handle high pressure. This is due to the fact that actively pumping blood places a significant load on the heart muscle. On the other hand, vein walls are generally thinner because they carry blood back at lower pressure.
This concept ties directly into a real life application we've all experienced at some point or another. You might have noticed that when you go get your blood pressure taken at the doctor's office, it is calculated as a ratio. The top number is typically a bigger value than the lower number.
You're right. This is due to the fact that the top number, the systolic pressure, is the pressure exerted by systole, which is arterial pressure due to contraction of the ventricles while pumping out blood. The bottom number, diastolic pressure, is diastole, which measures ventricular relaxation. Since the ventricles are relaxing, that results in a lower diastolic pressure value as opposed to the active arterial pressure.
Capillaries are another important component of the circulatory system. They're the smallest and most common blood vessels in the body, only 1 cell thick. They're composed of endothelial cells, controlling the flow of fluids, nutrients, and gases. This is where the real exchange happens. Oxygen and nutrients move into tissues and waste moves out.
Without capillaries, nutrient and oxygen delivery wouldn't reach individual cells. They're an essential part of the circulatory system. Now, moving on to our next point of discussion, here's something fascinating. The heart has its own electrical system.
The sinoatrial node, or SA node, acts as a heart's natural pacemaker. It generates electrical impulses. The purpose of those impulses is to spread across the atria, causing them to contract.
This signal is then sent to the atrioventricular node, the AV node. Once the AV node receives the signals, it briefly delays them, allowing the ventricles to fill up. The signals then travel through specialized fibers to the ventricles. This coordinated electrical activity between the SA node and the AV node, alongside many other fibers and a conduction system, produces the heartbeat.
And yes, your nervous system does play a role in your heart rate. It is responsible for speeding it up during stress and slowing it down during rest. Another important component of the circulatory system is the oxygen delivery. Oxygen delivery is essential for survival because cells use oxygen to produce ATP, the energy currency of the body.
Wow, that's really cool. To add on to that, hemoglobin binds oxygen in the lungs and releases it in tissues where it's needed most. Factors like temperature, carbon dioxide levels, and pH can influence how easily oxygen is released. Blood vessels can constrict or dilate to regulate blood pressure.
Sensors called baroreceptors detect pressure changes and trigger rapid adjustments. During exercise, heart rate and stroke volume increase to deliver more oxygen, while during rest, everything slows down to conserve energy. The body's oxygen delivery system is dynamic and responsive, allowing us to maintain homeostasis despite our external circumstances.
And now, to finish off with our Myth of the Week bonus. Let's start with one of the more common ones. Many of us may have assumed at one point or another that veins carry blue blood. In reality, that's not true. Blood is always red. Deoxygenated blood is just a darker shade of red, and their bluish appearance from outside has to do with the way light rays are absorbed into our skin.
Additionally, there is a misconception that a heart attack and cardiac arrest are the same thing. They're actually very different. A heart attack is a blockage of blood flow to heart muscle and is generally a circulation issue within the heart. Cardiac arrest is when the heart stops beating effectively due to an electrical malfunction and causes immediate unconsciousness.
Exactly. Both are serious conditions, but there's a difference between the two.
In summary, the circulatory system works nonstop, delivering oxygen, clearing waste, and keeping every organ supplied.
Even when you're sleeping, your heart is beating and blood is flowing. It provides our body's blood supply through a complex system of arteries and veins, and the heart muscle operates with four distinct chambers, two atria, and two ventricles. Electrical impulses are conducted through the SA and AV nodes to ensure that the heart contractions are rhythmic and precise.
It's rhythmic, precise, and it's absolutely essential.
Thanks for tuning into the Pulse Report. We hope you learned something new about the circulatory system, which consistently plays a large role in our life processes and our well being. Have a great day!